employees. Last week, I assigned one to sort NeoPixels by color. I assigned the other to fix a backwards code. We were 5 minutes into the tasks, and I realized I needed to switch them, because the colorblind one was putting all the red and green NeoPixels in the same pile, and the dyslexic one couldn't figure out which segments of the code were backwards. Most certainly, my biggest management fail so far, as I knew both of them had these conditions.
Excellent. Oh yeah, we're starting.
Oh shit.
Welcome to the Two Roommates with a Podcast. I'm Brent. My pronouns are he, him, Kirk.
Hi, my name is Kirk. My pronouns are any and all, but if you want to be cool... but if you want to be really cool about it, you can use they and them.
I've heard that's the benefit to being non-binary is when people try to trigger you. In fact, you don't have a trigger. You're triggerless.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if anyone tries to pull that shit on me, I can just be like, joke's on you, fucker.
You lay down your trap card.
Yeah, this is my trap card.
Except don't say that.
Yeah.
No, except I'm going to beep that. In editing, you're not going to hear that.
Yeah. Good Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
Excellent. So we decided, we're two roommates, obviously. We're in the same place. We decided to make a podcast, because, what else are you going to do? But no, life has been pretty miserable, I would say, over the last year. Even before then, it sucked. But really, over the last year, shit has gone downhill. So maybe, this podcast can be, an opportunity to explore the things we like.
Yeah.
Or, the stuff that gives us joy. Or maybe just something we care about.
Yeah, like a hobby.
Hobbies are good.
Hobbies are very good. Speaking of hobbies...
Oh, oh, Christ.
Let me continue where I left off.
Kirk is reading from a Farmer's Almanac. This is a podcast. You got to describe what you're doing.
Oh, no, I don't want to describe anything.
Very good. I'm sure they'll love that.
So Brent, you would be attracted to challenging, adventurous pursuits such as hiking,
hey,
rock climbing.
I thought you were talking about women.
Rock climbing, biking, backpacking and kayaking, paragliding, spelunking, bungee jumping, and motocross.
I'm with you all there except paragliding. Fuck that. You cannot get me. And I need to be on the ground.
On the ground.
At all points. I need to be connected.
Even when are not participants, they enjoy watching games, contests, and matches in stadiums, on TV, or streamed, and listening and dancing to spirited, vibrant music. Video games appeal to...
Is this for Aries, you said?
Yes.
That's me.
Yes. Aries, also known as Aryans.
Once again, I would opt for a different name.
Different term.
I'll take a different term.
It's not spelled the same.
It's pronounced, it's gone. Do you just call me, aren't they like Rams?
Aries is the Ram.
I'll take the Rams. I mean, they just got their asses handed to them. But, I'd take the Rams. That's a little sports joke for those. That's what Aries is. Yeah, Kirk's into... Kirk's into astrology, so I'll just often be sitting on the couch, and they'll just start reading shit to me, and I have to go,
Yeah, astrology, I'm into it in the sense that I don't think much about my own life. So reading a segment of a horoscope helps me go, oh, this is a new way to think about this thing, or to or it reminds me of the way that I've been feeling.
It's a good time, opportunity to reflect.
Yeah,
we don't do that enough as a people.
Yeah, so I feel like the first episode, if this goes public,
it's going public,
is the optimal time to set boundaries. And my hard boundary is astrology and magic and whatnot
aren't real.
Real.
Is real. That
aren't
is correct.
real.
What are you talking about?
Well,
The first thing we're gonna do is alienate all our potential astrology listeners.
and okay, but my reasoning is that the planets and the stars and their alignment does not have an actual effect on the people of this earth and the way that they live their lives. However, the lore that is built around it, you know, the Aries stands for this, and a conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury means this. Gives us an opportunity to imagine that we have some degree of control
Lord knows
over,
we need that.
over our fate. And it's really good because, like I was saying with astrology, it helps me think of things in a new way. Or doing a tarot reading. It helps me consider things from a point of view that I hadn't previously considered. So even though I don't think it has an actual tangible effect on reality, I think that it is still healthy in moderation, of course.
I'm fairly certain if you played the tarot, Jesus, and you get the death card or whatever, I'm pretty sure your uncle just immediatí on the spot, you get a text message from your parents.
But not
dead.
necessarily.
That's why I don't play it. I don't play that. I can't risk it.
And a lot of the things, though, is especially with tarot cards, you have a deck of like 13 cards in a suit, and then you have like 26 cards of the major arcana. So you have over 100 cards in the deck. And the thing about, or however many cards it is, but the thing about that is the interplay of the cards is much more important than the actual singular meaning of the card. So, like, if you do a single card reading, it's a bit more cut and dry, but if you do something a lot more intense, it is, how does death in the past stack up with, the Hierophant being in the future? And you kind of compare.
So how JFK got blown away, how does that compare to the future Kennedys that are at risk?
I don't think talking about presidential assassination is great
what
on
are you
a
talking
podcast.
About? It happened. It's a thing, and it happens. It'll probably happen again. I don't know.
It will probably happen again, but not to a president, to a Kennedy.
That's the thing. That's they took the curse. There wasn't there's a string of presidents going down, or a lot of presidents in a short amount of time, but the Kennedys they swapped that up. They took it up.
Nothing will quite compare to I believe it was actually no, something would compare. So in German history they have what is called the Year of the Three Emperors, and it's the first Kaiser died. And then his brother, came to power for all of 86 days, and then he died of throat cancer, and then they crowned another Kaiser, and that happened in one calendar year. The closest may be.
And then I played Battlefield 1. Is there a direct line between those three guys in that video game?
This happened in the 80s or 90s, 1880s, 1890s.
Wait, right after Take on Me came out, the Kaiser got killed? Jesus.
The Kaiser died of cancer.
What it was is the one with throat cancer, he tried to hit that high note, and then that metastasized his cancer.
Oh, yeah. Well.
I had something. I had the stock market. Jazz hands. Everyone's excited. No, depending on when I edit this bitch and release it, this may or may not be relevant. But GameStop is currently trading at $360. It should not be trading at $360. And so what's happened is it's a brick and mortar video game shop. That's that's a dying. All of those words just mean dead. Because video game sales are becoming more digital. People aren't going to retail shops as much, and it was like at a point in like 2019, it was trading at like $4, and so something was happening from a lot of firms called like short selling, which is a lot of firms were expecting it to continue to go down. So the idea is someone wants to buy it or have an option because they think it's going to go up. And they go, sure, yeah, we'll supply the stock at like $4. And like however many months or years down the line when that contract is up, we have to buy that many shares back. But we're expecting it to be like $2 or $1, so we get all that money. So they kept doing that. And it was pretty dead, but then like COVID hit, even worse. So now it's a video game brick and mortar shop in the middle of a pandemic that it should be dead to rights. But for some reasons, it got a new investment group. A guy named Ryan Cohen bought 12% of the company and immediately went on like the board of owners. And he was saying things about how, you're going to modernize it, going to try to revitalize it. And that got some excitement, and it bounced all the way up to $16 on the prospect of things actually getting better. But those short sellers, they lost money, but they didn't want to. They wanted basically GameStop. The ultimate goal is they wanted GameStop to go bankrupt and for the stock to go zero, because that means they would never have to pay any of those contracts back because the stock wouldn't exist because it'd be zero. So they kept doing a thing called short selling, which is they kept flooding the market with more shares, because if there's more supply, theoretically the stock would be lower because of that bullshit supply and demand thing we all learned in microeconomics. Total bullshit. But because of that, it was expected the stock would go down. And at one point, 140% of the stock was being shorted. You can't have more than 100% of a stock. But 140% of the stock was being shorted because the SEC is a joke of an organization and not prosecuting anybody. Gotta love our SEC boys. And
our boys in blue.
Back the blue. Back the SEC. No? Would they be in blue? What uniform would the SEC wear?
I'll look it up. Continue.
Okay. And so it was becoming this conflict between like the short sellers. They kept doubling down. They wanted all the money. And enter in the subreddit Wall Street Bets. They they use a platform called Robinhood to trade. And the thing is that GameStop was a very cheap stock to trade. Like there's a thing called like an option call, which is, sometime in the future you're expecting it to go up and you're buying a contract that says at some point in the future I have the right to buy 100 shares of this stock at this price. And you're just saying it's going to go up. And you had basically tens of thousands of Reddit users collectively buying options for GameStop. Something that just hadn't been done. Like I'm saying, 140% of the stock was shorted. And then all of a sudden, tens of millions of dollars are coming into GameStop because they're expecting it to go up. And what that's doing, it's creating something called a gamma squeeze and a short squeeze. And both of those things sound weird. And the idea behind that is, like with a gamma squeeze, I should stop crinkling things. That probably doesn't sound good in the microphone. I'm going to throw that. So a gamma squeeze is like those people who are short selling, they want to hedge their bets so they never lose money. So, they're obligated at some point to have all those shares to give back to the people with contracts. So they're going to buy a number of shares to mitigate their losses, because they, if they have, if they said they were going to give away 100 shares, they want to have maybe 50. So that way they're not, boy, I'm not explaining this well. Boy, maybe I've cut this.
Just keep going.
Keep
going.
Comedy gold. Comedy gold, baby. The stock market.
Just rambling about stocks.
Okay. I'm gonna cut this part out.
No, we keep it in.
No,
we keep it in.
No, we're going to cut to the base. Basically, what's happening is all those people who shorted, they need to buy stocks to cover their bets. But if you buy a stock, the stock is going to go up because there's less and less of it, more demand, the stock price goes up. And then all those people on Wall Street bets, they kept buying the stock. So it kept going up and up. And then the short squeeze, which is all these people expecting it to go down, it's not going down. And they have the thought of losing a ton of money, so they just abandon their positions. They go, it's not going to go down anymore. I need to cut my losses and abandon ship. That also is making it go up. So because of all these factors, GameStop is now trading at $360, and it's probably it could keep going up. I don't know.
Hopefully. Look, I don't care who wins. I just want hedge fund managers to lose.
That is the thing. So the fake news media, the
fake liberal left-wing blue fake news media.
That socialist organization.
Joe Biden is a tyrant who is controlling CNN.
The socialist organization CNBC. Basically,
what's the difference between CNBC and MSNBC?
Exactly, what is the difference between Joseph Stalin and those two people
Leonid
on MSNBC
Trotsky
or Rachel Maddow? It's basically you blink and both of them appear. No, so all those the firms, eventually, all those firms that were shorting it, they're going to have to cover the bets they made, which means they're going to have to provide the number of stocks. And if they have to provide tens of thousands of stock at $360 a piece, that will completely collapse their hedge fund, because they're at the point where they are billions of dollars in the hole. And they don't have enough assets, they don't own enough stock, and it's just going to collapse them. So the idea that a hedge fund is going to be liquidated in the next few months because of some people on Reddit, that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that Wall Street is currently the leading, or a bunch of people trading stock is currently the leading solidarity organization in America. Not like some labor, not a construction worker. No, just people on Wall Street. Mm-hmm. But they are collapsing a hedge fund, so shout out to them.
So I'm taking a look here, and it's taking me a while to find the uniform of the Securities and Exchange Commission Enforcement Division, but I'll find it.
I'll
find it.
I applied to work at the SEC. It would have been so sweet.
You did?
They don't. Okay, so the SEC, they don't do anything because they've been regulatory captured, and we're well past the government being able to do anything. But it still would have been pretty sweet. I would have really tried to regulate things. I probably would just I would have got ground into dust like everything else, but it could have been sweet.
Man, this entire manual doesn't have anything on a uniform or dress code.
Well, it doesn't you said the Postal Service has a police department or whatever.
Yeah, but
I'm sure they got a uniform.
But the SEC is mostly a bunch of lawyers and law students.
But that would have been that'd be pretty sweet if our mail guy though just ran into ran into Merrill Lynch and just started arresting people. This is a citizen's postal arrest for crimes against.
I'm gonna deputize our mail carrier,
dude,
under the authority of the apartment.
If I had the choice between our current government and Tony just making decisions, I would pick Tony.
And we don't know anything about Tony's politics.
I don't know anything about him other than he seems like a really good guy. And he delivers mail really well. Good for him.
Gotta love Tony. What if Tony is her first fan?
He's our back.
He does.
We should order packages.
So he has to drive so much. He probably listens to podcasts.
Oh, this is how we do it. Okay, so the new strategy: we're just going to order a bunch of shit online and wait outside for the delivery workers. And then once we get our packages, you're like, you should listen to the Two Roommates podcast. And when they say,
they'll be like, what?
And we go. Think about it. It's not bad. I mean, well, you got to think it's upfront cost. I mean, we could probably make that as a tax deductible, right? Because it's for the business. Yeah. All those purchases we make on Amazon, including this microphone. This is all also to the SEC. You can turn off now. This is just a tax laundering scheme for tax deductible. I have to file my taxes soon. God damn it! I don't want to do that. Do you have to pay taxes? Is that still a thing?
Ideally, we don't.
I hear people talk about it a lot on TV. I'm not even sure if it is real at this point. It might just be one of those things they say. You know,
I have a faint memory of paying what did you call them? Taxis. Taxis. Yes.
No. We use Uber now.
Oh. Yeah, but I have this faint memory of like what's it called? Like a W-2 coming from some place called my employer.
You know what's the biggest scam? Having a job. What a fucking bunch of rubes.
Finally.
Dude, we are all just a bunch of saps. We're working? What? I'm pretty sure if you walk around in France, they're just hanging out. They're over tables. They're not doing anything. They're just hanging out. A doctor comes by. He says, if you need me, I'll be getting liquored up.
Yeah. Another position that I'll take a hard line on now is French accents are awesome, no matter how bad they are.
For example?
Come at us, Frenchies.
For example, what's a French accent, for example, Kirk?
Always this is the problem with the French accent. It is really hard to do.
You ever read?
Look. My stance on Europe is it's a beautiful continent. It's got a lot of history. I've never been there, but France sucks. The UK should be sunk to the bottom of the ocean. I love Germany. Ich spreche weniger Deutsch.
Gross.
Aber Deutschland sollen.
I see. I have no idea what that means. I can only assume that's fascist propaganda.
Yeah, but Germany is also kind of gross. It's very cringe. I don't know if you know.
Is cringe.
I don't know if you know, but there's been a lot of things in German history that are really bad, and there are people that worship Germany for the wrong fucking reasons.
So you just worship Germany for the right reasons?
Yes, I worship Germany.
We're gonna
post-ironically.
Post that just means you worship Germany. If it's post irony, it's just circled back. You just circled back to liking Germany.
Okay. So let's go through a very quick timeline of German history.
Jesus Christ.
If you're into Germanic paganism, that's potentially problematic. If you're into Roman Germany, that's probably problematic. If you're into the Holy Roman Empire, that's pretty problematic. If you are into the period after the Holy Roman Empire, in which it was like a confederation of nation states, and it was slowly being united into one nation by Otto von Bismarck, that's pretty problematic. If you're into the unified Germany under Kaiser Wilhelm II, that leads up to the end of World War I, that's pretty problematic. If you're into Weimar Germany, that's okay. If you're into Nazi Germany, that is extremely problematic.
And we're going to cut there to
and then after World War II, you have a split, right? You have the communist East Germany and you have the capitalist West Germany.
So at what point do we actually even like Germany?
At no point.
Because now it's
the closest we got to a likable Germany was the Weimar Republic in Eastern Germany.
Well, yeah, because now it's ruled by Kaiser Merkel, who's been ruling it with a limp fist for 20 years.
I don't know. She's had a decent fist. It's just the sad state of reality at this point in time is.
Imagine having a functioning state, though. Do you know what that's like? You know, it's a weird thing. I can't really remember living in a
Imagine
functional government.
Imagine having a government that does have its problem with Nazis, granted, but does actually attempt to prosecute a majority of the Nazis.
See, we're just like Germany. Only the first part, though, where we have a problem with Nazis. We didn't know prosecuting, learning. That part didn't happen. They make really cool rockets, though. So they got right into NASA. German's a fun topic because we can go into our backstory. No.
Are we gonna do like a bubble sound effect as we go back in time?
Like from Wayne's World. That is very copywritten. I'm not doing that.
No, people do it all the time.
No, so in college we met. We're holding hands right now. So in college we met in German class, and it was just like if you've seen Always Sunny, it's that scene where Mac and Charlie look at each other across from the restaurant and they lock eyes because we were in German. It was the first class we'd ever been in college. And our professor told everyone to like pair up, and I looked to my left and everyone had a partner. I looked to my right, everyone had a partner. And then just across from the room, we stared at each other like... And then
yeah, that's right. I was on the far side of the room.
And we looked
at the front.
Right, but it was like that. And then I got up, and as they say, the rest is we make a podcast 6 years later.
Yep.
That was the natural conclusion to this friendship. And this is the conclusion.
This is the conclusion.
The lease is up.
It's over. Goodbye. I never want to see your fucking face again.
That's right. The little known fact, the lease is only up for 6 months, not a year. Fun fact, pack your shit.
Well,
yeah, so I was talking to Kirk about this the other day. I'm going to say that a lot because Kirk and I are the only people in this fucking apartment, so we talk to each other a lot.
I mean, there are other people. They just don't exist.
That's true. It's debatable whether or not other people do exist. But it's like, for that class that I took German, it was like in the orientation for college. And I could have chose Spanish or German. And I fucking botched Spanish in high school. I am a moron. That went horribly. And I was thinking about like that 2 years of horror. And I went, I'll take German. And because I basically in my head just went, yeah, German sounds fun. Like, I have a roommate now. And it's like, not every decision has like that butterfly effect or something like that. But it is weird when you can look back at a specific decision. Like, I know exactly where I was sitting. I know what I was doing. And that was like 6 years ago. And I remember it so vividly. So it's weird how like little things like that, you can just trace the dots back to like right now. And I don't know what that means, but it's weird. I'm sure some German philosopher talked about it. Full circle, baby.
About time being a flat circle?
Time.
It's a flat circle.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Little known German philosopher by the name of... I said it once, I'll say it again.
Did. The German...
by the name of Friedrich Nietzsche. Said time is a flat circle. And I don't quite know what he meant by that, but it's a good quote.
It is good. And I mean, if you think about it, that's maybe the... once again, we were talking about this yesterday, is the impetus for this podcast, because you want to talk about things that give you joy, because Lord knows life isn't going to give it to you.
Yeah, and we were talking about this and like the philosophy and the mentality behind doing a podcast when it seems every white guy and white non-binary person is doing a podcast, and it's because it's something to do. We're all cooped up inside. It is winter. Right now there's like 7 inches of snow outside. A podcast is something to you record it, you edit it, you put it up, you refresh the page constantly looking for engagements. You get one view, and that's it. But
the one view's me, because I listen to it.
But it is something to do. And even if it's just two friends talking into the void about anything, it's something to do, and that is good. That's wholesome. It
Right.
helps get us through this mess.
Right. It's for in it for itself. Like the act itself is the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And
So we do apologize for just the haphazard nature of these these
I don't
first few
apologize.
episodes.
I know a few episodes. Kirk is predicting we do this again.
Eventually, we will reach a level of professionalization
What?
in which we're
Excuse
still
me?
filled with tangents and we talk over each other. But at least we have we come with topics to discuss.
Do we? No. Oh yeah. So we made a Twitter, and I'll give Kirk the password for that. Kirk has been fucking hounding me for 6 months to get a Twitter. At the same time, I keep telling Kirk to delete Twitter because it's a cesspool and should be like with a cleansing fire burned off this earth. But with that said, follow our Twitter at what is it? I think it's like two roommates with a pod or something like that.
You didn't tell me.
I know I did. Yeah, Kirk. Oh yeah, Kirk. We have a Twitter. Oh yeah, we have. At some point the other day, I made an email, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple ID. The Apple ID fucking sucked. I had to call support. And ultimately, he looked like Chuck Schumer with your glasses like that. That's not a good thing. Oh my! We need the suburban vote. Is the new
Where's
power
Nancy
base of the
Pelosi to
America.
grab my back and keep my spine from sliding
Nancy
out?
Pelosi thinks she's at her high school prom dance because she's losing her mind. Sunday morning. Hello, she's fucking losing it. Yeah, so the Apple ID. It turns out I just didn't accept terms and services, which I didn't tell me I needed to.
Nothing shows up for two roommates with a pod.
So there's a podcast called The Roommates, but I was thinking, so we were spitballing ideas for the podcast. And one of them was obviously, you got to get through the Google Analytics. I got to make sure no other name exists. So two roommates, that's different. There is a podcast called The Roommates, but don't listen to that. I'm sure they're great people, wonderful, but don't listen to them. I don't know anything about them. Oh yeah, and a Discord and Patreon. Naturally. We have a Patreon for a podcast that we don't know if we're going to keep doing, but subscribe to our Patreon anyway.
Yes, give us money.
So that way we don't... so that way Kirk can stop working at the call center. You should fucking see Kirk literally metaphysically sunk into the chair. It's beautiful.
Give me a call, Caitlin. Let me know I can leave.
We both hate our jobs. Kirk with the objectively worst job, but I still don't like mine.
Customer service, though, not a bad gig.
It
Call center
okay.
is the worst form of customer service.
The worst form of probably anything humans have ever conceived up to this point.
If you are in a job that you hate and you don't know if you'll be there long anyway, look into starting a union.
A union.
It's very hard. You have to do a lot of networking. You have to get people on board. But at the end of the day, you just have to say, work could be better. Being employed here could be better. And how do we make it better? By organizing.
Yeah.
By all workers standing up, agreeing to stand with one another.
That sounds like some communist propaganda, Kirk.
This is communist propaganda. We skirted the issue before.
But no,
we're rounding about.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's important to think about. It's like, life could be better. Like, those pigs in Washington, they don't think we should deserve anything at any point, but really, we deserve lots of things. Like I said, working's a scam, jobs are a scam. Let's all just go be French and have the firefighters fucking beat up the police.
Here is a good start, right? And you can critique it however you want. That's fine.
But
I
don't
don't give a
critique it.
shit.
But don't critique it though. Only
4-day
nice
work
things.
week. 6-hour workday.
Hell yeah.
You should be paid for the time it takes you to get ready for work, drive to work, and drive home from work.
No. It should be, what is it? No, it's 4 days a week, 20 hours a week, $69 an hour.
Yes.
420, 69, baby. That's how we're going to do it. Like I said, that's how those guys on Wall Street bets, that's what they have their stock price set at. They'll sell it when it hits 420.69, which that's just good financial advice. Except now they're trying to sell it at like 1,000.
Yeah.
Because like I said, basically they control the... It's really funny. A bunch of schmucks on the internet basically control the price of a stock. And they're just going to have it keep going up. That's not going to sound right, though, because I cut all of that stock market talk, so this won't make any sense.
Not all of it. You did a summary.
Bad...
This is the more we reference, the more self-referential we get over the course of a podcast, the better. Because then Brent will forget to cut.
I'm going to cut all of it.
It's going to be the very beginning talking about astrology.
It's going to say one part about fuck the Nazis, and then it'll be thank you for listening to the Two Roommates podcast. It'll be about 8 minutes long. We'll make it a tight 5. Is there a tight 5 podcasting?
I don't know.
That's a stand-up thing. But yeah, I wrote down some. I'm a schmuck. I wrote down some things in my notebook to talk about the stock market. About halfway through, I just threw that shit out. That was bad.
Yeah, I think now's the time of the podcast where we talk about how we could improve for the next one.
That is true.
So this is the part you want to listen to because so much more is coming. Things are gonna get better. You just gotta hold in there like a shitty TV show. We keep teasing this out. You gotta stick with us. You'll get that payoff.
No. I think that we shouldn't be talking about this now because that happens in like we were watching
season 3.
No, we were watching season 2 of The Boys. It was like maybe a few months ago, and it was like the first couple episodes were fucking rough. Like they just weren't like hitting you the right way, but it's like we were already a season in, and it's like all the episodes are out, so it was almost like every episode was like you give it one more, and eventually it actually picked up. I don't think that's what's going to happen with this. I think it's just going to keep going downhill. But if The Boys picked up,
but I want it to kind of I think it will be roughly an even line.
We'll
get better at some things. We'll get better at some things. Like I will start writing down thoughts that I have throughout the day. That if this is going to be a podcast about like trying to improve ourselves in a really shitty time, I can pull those out. Or like finding a thing and we make each episode around like a little bit of a theme, like our favorite podcast. Well, there's your problem.
Oh, no. Hey, don't put words in my... they're a good podcast. They're a good podcast.
Listen to it if you haven't. Brilliant engineering podcast.
Well, the thing is with that, though, you have to watch it on YouTube. Like, I try to listen to the podcast, but they do, like, slides and shit about engineering disasters. And it's hard to convey an engineering disaster through audio format, so you really need to watch it through YouTube. And I like to go on long walks. That's something I like. That's something let's talk about. I love a long walk, and I can't work out. I can't make myself work out. I bought a yoga mat for like a New Year's resolution. Have not used it once, but I can go on walks.
So hate
podcasts.
Walking.
That's Kirk is a liar. Dirty.
I hate
dirty,
walking. I hate talking. I hate chalking things, and it's all because I had a speech impediment as a kid, and they sent me to a speech therapist, and she's like,
and they didn't work out all the kinks.
They didn't work out all the kinks.
It's like the hose is still a little bit bottled up.
It's like R's in my name, Kirk. Or L's, like in chalk. I used to just drop them completely. My name was Cook.
Chalk.
Cook. And I would say like chalk. And they had to work that out. But there are still kinks. I have a little bit of a lisp.
Lisp.
Because I to do the S, I have to put my tongue between my teeth.
That's nice. And where, those listeners, where do you put your tongue when you do an S? Because I was trying to think about it. It's like S.
when I was thinking,
Snake.
when I was trying to
Elizabeth
improve
Warren
on
is a
that,
snake.
when I was trying to improve on that, the person said that there's like 3 places people tend to put their tongues when doing an S sound. It's either at the very top behind where the your top teeth meet your gum, like, or the roof of your mouth, like S, S. Or like kind of closer to the tip of the teeth, I guess. S, S. Or it's down at the bottom of the teeth, which I keep forgetting is better for me. As S.
F?
S.
I would eat.
And then the third is what causes lisps. Although you can get a little better at it, and that's you stick the tongue out through the teeth and you just blow enough air hard enough over the top of the tongue, and it hisses out between the
Generally,
teeth.
my problems are solved by blowing hard enough, so I agree. You know, if there was a picture of Kirk and Mike Tyson, I could not tell them apart. There's just one big lisp, including Kirk's face tattoo that they have. I thought the Komodo dragon was a little bit cultural insensitive since, you know, they don't have any Asian heritage, but it does look pretty sweet. You can say anything because it's not a video podcast.
Oh, I can say anything.
Well, I was saying I can because you can't prove me otherwise.
I can say anything. Please,
except I have to beep it.
Please, I love my grandmother.
Jesus,
very
where the
much.
fuck is this going? What the fuck?
Very, very much. Very, very much. But she was very excited to call and tell me that I have an ancestor from the 1500s who was a Montauk chief.
Oh, Christ. You don't be one of those people. Does that mean you get money from the government?
No.
An actual chief doesn't get money from the government, so why would...
And that's one of the things, and we can cut this.
No, we're keeping... fucking, if I had to keep my stock bullshit, we're keeping...
You don't have to keep anything. At this point, we've recorded enough, it can just be a mishmash. But I'm going to finish this thought. And that's one of the things that I can understand, like, finding interesting. I do find it interesting, but under no circumstance am I a, 99% white person
you fucking look at
going
Kurt
to walk
and the German
around
flag.
saying, but actually...
You look at Kirk and it's just the German flag, and you hear... Isn't it the same? Or do they change anthems?
It's the same.
It's
the same anthem. We just do the third verse, not the first two. The first two are nationalist. The third verse is not.
Well, it's like the Russian national anthem is still the same tune as the Soviet one.
Yeah, but
just
the
lyrics
change the lyrics.
Yeah, but the lyrics are... Well, yeah, you gotta change the lyrics, but the lyrics are way worse, because before you got shit about the workers and Lenin. Shit's cash. Why'd they change it? What happened?
What
Something happen
to the Soviet Union?
See, we're not... See, we were talking about this the other day.
You see,
we're not
Brent
tankies.
majored in computer science and math.
Yup.
And I majored in this thing called history.
Blowjob.
I don't know. I don't
Bullshit.
remember anything about it. So yeah, what happened to the Soviet Union?
You know what's... So, I was saying, we aren't tankies, but son of a bitch, it has been bad for America that we don't have, like, a communist country, like, a few thousand miles away to, like, look at each other, because now we're just going fucking wild, and we have no bearing whatsoever.
Yeah. Workers have no rights whatsoever, and it's because... we don't have a communist superpower that the workers are looking to, going, workers have power there?
Yeah, or all the fucking propaganda. Like, in the 80s, they ate just as well as us, and they also had, like, fucking guarantees about, like, time off, healthcare access. It was fucking wonderful. Or like when Chernobyl came out, which is very funny. Like, the whole thing was like, can you believe this repressive country? They couldn't handle this apocalyptic event. Could you imagine, like, something like that happening here? Okay, now I'm gonna cue in the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. Is
that copyrighted?
Oh, it is. That's why I'm singing. Boop boop. Yeah. So imagine a country not being able to handle a post-apocalyptic event. Welcome back.
After that brief break, I had the opportunity to eat all the rest of my lemon.
Oh yeah, Kirk. Didn't we? Kirk said a joke in the kitchen, and I said they should say it again on the podcast, but now I'm forgetting. Kirk, you stuck a lemon in the garbage disposal. Was that the impetus for the joke?
And now we're doing the lemon in the garbage disposal.
That wasn't the joke.
Instead of fork in a garbage disposal. Ting, 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 ting.
No, you said a different joke about
Yeah, I don't remember.
Son of a bitch. It was funny. That's the famous rule in movies: you want to tell, not show. So we're gonna tell you that Kirk said something pretty funny.
Man, I don't know how much of this we're keeping.
Oh,
if we are keeping anything.
We can't keep talking about how much we're going to keep. The content of the podcast cannot be a commentary about how the podcast is going.
Are we even doing it? Is the microphone even on? We've been talking for like 40 minutes.
There isn't even a microphone. I just hold a carrot up to Kirk's face and they just assumed it was funny.
It's
actually it's a Hello Barbie wireless microphone. And Kirk, I tell Kirk it's live. It makes him feel good.
Yeah. Brent and I had different theories about how the first episode.
We can't keep talking about the.
Oh no! I want to talk about it now. If we don't talk about it now, we're never going to talk about it because you never listen to me. I work all day in my room. Taking phone calls
to provide. I made dinner tonight. What are you talking about? I provide.
I don't know. But yeah, we had slightly different theories, and I was like, I think we need to do 1 or 2 trials and get stuff out of our system, and then we'll record and upload. And he's like, no, whatever we record goes up. But right now we're at a state where, You're gonna need to cut this, Brent.
No,
because it's getting self-referential.
Stop it! No, it's all getting uploaded because I am the editor.
So if because if we don't upload it, then you won't have an impetus to continue to record.
Also, that'll definitely kill my memory. But
so what we'll need to do is just private it later.
It's not about the podcast, like we were saying. It's about the act, the end result. I mean, we would like it to be nice. That's why we bought a microphone. But part of it is the act of doing something, and maybe that's the message. Maybe that's the moral message for the first episode: is whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter how it turns out. I'm a shitty painter, but sometimes I like to paint, and it's just fun. I follow Bob Ross, and it turns out horrible. Yeah, we did that with checks.
Oh. Okay, you follow an episode of Bob Ross, and not you follow what he's doing in the here and now.
I was about to say, yeah.
So that's a little hard.
I dug up down about 6 feet, and I was just like, Bob! I was shaking on the casket, Bob! What is this Teflon white? Bob! No, but you should just do, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's just the act of doing it. Feeling basically fucking alive.
Yeah. Whatever makes you feel alive, whatever gets you excited to do something, even if it's just excitement at the time, do it. Just do it. You need to take life and you need to enjoy it. And that's the message here. So whatever it is that you need to do,
this is getting horrible.
Do it.
That is so bad.
Do it.
Never mind. This is the only part of the podcast I'm
draw
cutting.
Something, sketch something, paint something, read a book. Go for a walk outside. Buy a gun.
Overrated.
Go to a bank. Hold up the bank. Steal millions of dollars from hedge fund managers.
And then give it to the Patreon, 2 Roommates with a Podcast, patreon.com.
Not that we're endorsing bank robbery.
No.
But whatever gets you doing things.
Or whatever helps you self-actualize, whether that be painting or robbery. And we're back.
And we're back.
I don't know what else we got. We're getting close.
You wanted to go for like a whole hour?
Well, yeah, I feel like that's standard because I don't know how much I'm cutting. I feel like an hour is like a good recording
Just get a
time.
feel of things.
Right, like what does an hour look like? Feel free to leave feedback on whatever platform you happen to find this, or most likely will not find this on.
Yeah. Knowing the sheer number of podcasts that exist in the world, and the kind of podcast that we have created.
And the logo I made, that shitty little thing you looked at when you saw the podcast, that was made by me. Someone completely without artistic talent. But it looks okay.
It looks good.
And I'm not going to say where I made it in case that's also a copyright infringement, but I made it somewhere.
You made it somewhere.
Kirk had input. I had them come into my room, and I was like, how does the text with like the semicircle look? And they went, it looks like it's too much up. And I went, well, they don't have a setting to change that, so. And I uploaded it. Trying to get it to not be, that was an endeavor in itself. Trying to get the picture to not be pixelated, because different websites want it at a different pixelation rate. And like Twitter wants it at like, I think it was like 300 by 300, and I had it at like 6,000 by 6,000. So it just looked like a single JPEG. But now it looks better.
So, you play audience. When we actually build up like a following of 20 very devoted individuals who listen to the occasional podcast,
who will find where we live and kill us because Jodie Foster told them to.
Please do me a favor, and when you listen to this podcast several years after it's been recorded and uploaded, please leave a comment and let us know if you play any video games. What kind of video games you play?
Dude, what did you think about the Cyberpunk release?
Because we do care about you.
Cyberpunk. I'm a fucking asshole. I've only played like a few hours of it. It was fine. I just haven't played it. Please continue.
We do care about you. We do love that you listen to every podcast and you send us such wonderful things, such as pictures of us from outside our kitchen window. And I care what you do in your free time if you play video games.
Well, we haven't actually said where we're from. We did mention snow, so they know it's somewhere snowy.
What if we talked about? What if we tease something every episode?
How else could they know where we're from? I'm sure I'm going to mention a sports team. And that'll probably give it away at some point.
Cut this part. Cut this part. But, no, really, cut this part. We're teasing it out, and we want this to be a genuine surprise.
It could be
like
like Twin Peaks. Like Twin Peaks, it was all about who killed Laura Palmer. In this one, two roommates. It's all about, where are they roommates at? We have to know! Where are the roommates?
Yeah.
So Kirk mentioned the logo. It was just that one was a copyright free, and it was supposed to be of a particular city, and I don't know if that particular city is conveyed properly. It looks nice though.
I told you to cut it because we have to tease it out.
We
never mention the logo.
I don't what.
No, we never mention the logo because that has to be something one of our fans finds out.
The Super Sleuth where they go in and they crack the code. They look.
Although to be fair, any Super Sleuth that listens through like all 20 episodes prior to when we actually like get in the swing of things some fans.
I'm pretty sure we're in the swing of things right now. This is swinging.
Ooh, here's the article for you.
How NFL teams were named.
We're not reading it now.
No.
Because
the Panthers, well, they had an owner and there was a tragic accident. No, I had I had something to share with you. Maybe we could do some sort of reading series or something. I liked it when you read off the astrology shit. Maybe we do like we just steal what Chapo does and we just do a reading series.
And you can't prove what Farmer's Almanac. I read that
I'm pretty sure it's not illegal.
Thing.
It's not illegal to read a Farmer's Almanac.
It better not be.
Okay, so no, this is about Fallout Frontier, which is a new mod that came out.
Oh, with America, the slave girl.
Yeah. So Frontier is a new mod that came out for Fallout New Vegas, and it has had a interesting start in that one of the developers put in some really weird fetish shit, and it was really gross. And I like the Fallout franchise, so I don't like it when some guy is just jerking his gherkin to some
because that guy's
to
not
some
you.
model, and because he's basically me. Fallout Frontier is currently set to hidden for the following reason. Some deeply concerning news has emerged in the past few hours. We have that's how you always want to. We have recently notified that one of our developers, Zoo the Skunk, has posted animated pedophilic content on their personal artist account. The items in question are deeply disturbing to the entire team, and we condemn them in the strongest sense. They've been removed, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, boy, I wonder why all that weird shit about slavery and rape was in the mod. Wonder how that slipped through the fucking QA process. And like
what QA process?
And like Kirk mentioned, I have a degree in computer science, and I'm fucking livid. Not only as a gamer, but like, who the fuck was doing quality control on that bullshit? If I was on their team,
it's
like
a
the daily
created mod.
No, they might have had like daily stand-up meetings where they talk about what did they do, what are they gonna do. What some guy fucking mentioned? Yeah, I really worked out the bugs. She now sucks your dick when you ask her to. It was kind of glitching out. I maybe would have been, raised some questions about that. Or on the ticket board where they're logging their work. It's like, her left nipple is slightly displaced from her right nipple when that was one of the tickets on Jira. They probably should have asked some questions. So it's frustrating.
No, because I thought with most fan-created mod content, you have a team of individuals and there is some collaboration, but for the most part, you are creating your own stuff, and then everything gets lumped together, and you do like play through it as a team, but you're not going to come across everything.
That's true. That is true. I don't know how they developed it, but in this case, because it is such a large mod, I'm told like if you were to do everything, it could take like 80 hours. And like to actually like combine 80 hours of content, they must have in some way been working together, because it's like that's just way too much stuff happening to not have a level of coordination with each other. Otherwise, I don't even know how they fucking put the mod together. So under the idea that there was some level of communication with everyone, I don't know how some of that shit passed through. It's despicable. Sure, we'll talk about Fallout at some point.
We will talk more about Fallout. I need to play Fallout New Vegas.
You do? You have a PC now? Play it.
Well, I need to set up my PC in a permanent spot.
Oh, and then also you need to do like at least an hour of modding to download all the things you need to do to get it to run. No, you can.
No, I go in
raw. On Steam, if you go on Steam, it'll just laugh at you. Gabe Newell will just start Skyping you, and he's like, buddy. You didn't.
You don't think
you need to spend.
Gabe Newell will pull out a miracle?
Are you ready for a miracle?
I miss those memes.
God, those are the best memes. Dude, when I got my first laptop, Steam Winter Sale, I didn't realize that's what it was like. I heard about it. I didn't realize that's what it was like.
When did you get your first laptop?
It was, when did something happen? When was time a thing? I got it in like late 2019, I think.
That's much later than I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I had a laptop before, but not anything that could, play games.
Like, my Reddit account, I created, like, probably junior or senior year of high school, and everyone else had been hounding me for, like, 2 years to get one. But I've had Steam for so long, and I don't understand how you never encountered it
I tried
before.
Well, no, because I tried playing Minecraft on one of my old laptops, and I swear to God, if I hooked up some potatoes in series, I think I could have ran it better. Like, I was on the lowest settings, no chunks loading, and I was getting like 10 frames. So that's how. Yeah. I think we could probably call it here. That was an hour.
Yeah. No, we keep going.
No, we call it.
No, you wanted to keep going. We keep going.
I said I wanted to keep going to this. This is how far I wanted to keep going.
Too fucking late.
You don't run a marathon and then the guy in front of you goes, "Oh, this isn't over." This is double marathon.
Speaking
it's like
about running,
it's like when you beat Pokemon and you have to go back to Kanto. When you run a marathon, you got to do double marathon.
Scorpio is a feminine fixed water sign. No kidding.
What does that mean?
Feminine.
What gross.
Planet of hidden
Girls,
power
am I right?
and regeneration.
Because of the periods, they regenerate. Oh my god, they're like Pokemon, dude. Girls are like Pokemon.
Scorpios tend to be physically strong and to love athletic activities that require intensity and resilience, such as karate, wrestling, weightlifting, archery,
it's not comedy.
fencing,
If you just
mountain climbing. I do like mountain climbing.
When's Scorpio? Like September? When's Scorpio?
When's my birthday?
November 3rd. No? First? What? You can't do that. When's your birthday?
And marathon.
You can't do that.
Well, we're on a podcast, Brent.
Well, you just asked me when your birthday is, and then you wanted me to answer it. What do you mean we're on a podcast? Tell me when your birthday is. Podcast. When's your birthday?
November 3rd.
I was right! Oh! It's not, everyone,
mountain climbing and marathon or triathlon training. So I do like marathons. I could keep going.
That's why you're trans, because you were born in November, because of the feminine regeneration. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. They're eating Kirk. And then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god.
Alright, cut it.
Alright, oh, now Kirk's finally fucking done. When Kirk says we're done.
When the bit is over, the bit is over.
When Kirk says we're done, then we're done. Alright, well, this was. Boy, wonder how all that sounds. So this was the first episode of Two Roommates with a Podcast. Hopefully we'll see you sometime. I'm not sure how often we're going to record this, when this is going to come out. It's definitely going to come out. I can commit to that. Anything beyond that? No, not at all. But we have a Twitter, Patreon, it's all in the links.
If by some
The links will be in the description. That's what they say on other podcasts, so I'll say it. The links are in the description below.
All the links in the description.
That's all Zelda. Ocarina, The Link to the Past, Majora's. I got Kirk to laugh. I win. I won the podcast.
Well, I got you to laugh.
But it counts more for me. It's double for me. I'm a man. It's a man's world.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Oh, Christ. All right.